What if venomous snakes were a constant danger in your town? In rural Japan during the 1980s, almost 400 people were bitten by deadly habu snakes. To stop the threat, officials introduced a bold solution: the mongoose. At first it seemed to work, but the situation soon spiraled out of control. Stay with us to uncover how this risky experiment backfired, leading to an even bigger crisis. This is the story of Japan's mongoose experiment and its shocking outcome. In the early 1980s, Japan was facing a serious public health crisis caused by venomous snake attacks, particularly from the deadly habu snake. In just 1 year, nearly 400 people suffered bites, and tragically, some lost their lives. This growing threat underscored the immense danger posed by these reptiles. Japan is home to many venomous snakes, but the most feared are the largest ones, such as the habu and the eastern pit viper. These deadly snakes are closely related to rattlesnakes and puff adders, with distant ties to coral snakes and cobras. Understanding their origins helps reveal the severity of the danger faced by people in Japan. What made the situation even worse was the absence of an antidote for many years. Even after one was developed, delivering it to victims proved extremely difficult. The antidote was in liquid form and needed refrigeration. However, rural areas, where most attacks occurred, lacked proper storage and electricity, making it nearly impossible to keep the antidote available when needed. People in these regions not only lived with the threat of snake bites, but also had little hope of receiving timely treatment. Given these dire circumstances, Japanese scientists realized they needed a different approach, one that did not rely on conventional medicine or technology. Then an idea emerged. What if they could find a natural predator to control the snake population? Could there be an animal that was not only immune to the venom, but could actively hunt down these deadly creatures? This marked the beginning of one of Japan's most astonishing experiments. It was a bold and risky idea, introducing an animal specifically to combat this growing crisis. But would nature provide the answer, or would this decision lead to even greater unforeseen consequences? In the late 1970s, Japanese researchers introduced around 30 mongooses to Amami-Oshima Island. Their mission was simple: hunt and reduce the growing habu snake population. Officials believed that by introducing these skilled predators, they could protect the island's residents from deadly snake encounters and restore balance to the ecosystem. Mongooses, originally from parts of Asia such as India, Bangladesh, and Nepal, are famous for their ability to hunt small prey, including venomous snakes like cobras. Their bodies contain unique receptors that make them resistant to snake venom, allowing them to survive deadly bites. Quick, agile, and armed with sharp teeth, the mongoose seemed like the perfect answer to Japan's snake crisis. With their reputation as expert snake hunters, it looked like Japan had found the ultimate solution. But nature is rarely predictable. While the mongooses showed early success, they were not fully prepared for the unexpected challenges of their new home. Unlike their native lands, Amami-Oshima offered them an environment with no natural predators and fewer of the dangers they had evolved to face. Instead of solving one problem, the introduction of mongooses began to shift the island's delicate ecological balance in ways no one had foreseen. At first, everything seemed to go according to plan. The mongooses hunted snakes, snake numbers declined, and even the rat population decreased. But soon the situation took an unexpected turn. As time passed, the mongoose population exploded beyond control. What started as a small, carefully planned experiment quickly transformed into an environmental crisis. Without natural enemies to keep their numbers in check, the mongooses flourished in their new habitat. However, instead of exclusively targeting the venomous snakes, they began preying on easier targets: small, defenseless animals. Among their victims was the rare Amami rabbit, a species found nowhere else on Earth. Unable to protect itself from this new predator, its population began to decline at an alarming rate. The very creatures the experiment aimed to protect were now at risk. While the mongoose had proven itself to be a capable snake hunter, it was never designed to coexist with the fragile wildlife of the island. What started as an ambitious attempt to control snake numbers had spiraled into an ecological disaster. So what went wrong? How did Japan's bold solution lead to an unexpected crisis? Before we move forward, I have a quick request. If you're enjoying this journey and want to support this channel, take just 10 seconds to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell. It means everything to us, and in return, we promise to bring you even better content. Deal? By the year 1993, the mongoose population on Amami-Oshima Island had exploded to such an extent that Japan's Ministry of the Environment raised urgent concerns. What started as a small introduction of animals to control snakes had spiraled into an ecological crisis. By the year 2000, the mongoose numbers had surged to nearly 10,000, far beyond what anyone had anticipated. But had the snake population actually declined? Technically, yes, but not because of the mongooses. In reality, these supposed snake hunters showed little interest in their venomous targets. On paper, they seemed like the perfect solution. After all, mongooses are famous for their ability to fight cobras, which are closely related to the habu. With their natural agility and speed, they should have been able to keep the snakes in check. Evolution had even given them a powerful advantage. They possessed specialized acetylcholine receptors that made them highly resistant to venom, allowing them to survive bites that would be fatal to other creatures. Their quick reflexes and razor-sharp teeth allowed them to strike with deadly precision. Everything suggested that the plan should have worked. But there was a critical flaw. Mongooses are active during the day, while the habu hunts at night. Because of this mismatch in activity, the two species rarely encountered each other, making the mongooses ineffective as snake predators. Even if they did come across a habu, they had little motivation to attack. Why waste energy on a dangerous and venomous opponent when far easier prey, like mice and rabbits, was available? It was the classic choice between a difficult hunt and an effortless meal, except in this case, the difficult meal could bite back. The impact on the island's fragile ecosystem was devastating. The Amami rabbit, a unique species that had evolved in isolation for thousands of years without predators, suddenly found itself vulnerable. Small, defenseless, and already endangered, these rabbits became an easy target for the ever-growing mongoose population. In a bitter twist of fate, the very species introduced to solve the snake problem had created an even bigger disaster. As one local conservationist put it, it was as if the cure had become worse than the disease. By this point, it was clear that the experiment had completely backfired. What had started as a seemingly simple and effective solution had instead triggered an environmental crisis. Instead of restoring balance, the mongooses had thrown the island's ecosystem into chaos. A plan meant to protect human lives had unintentionally put the entire environment at risk. The arrival of mongooses on Amami-Oshima Island set off a devastating chain reaction, leading to the rapid decline of many native species. It wasn't just the Amami rabbit that faced danger. Nearly 15 unique species on the island were now on the brink of extinction. These animals, which had evolved over thousands of years to perfectly adapt to their surroundings, suddenly found themselves struggling to survive against a predator they had never encountered before. The unintended consequences of the mongoose introduction soon became undeniable. What was once a simple ecological adjustment had turned into a full-blown crisis. These creatures were no longer just an inconvenience. They had become a direct threat to the island's fragile biodiversity. Entire ecosystems, carefully balanced over millennia, were now unraveling due to the unchecked presence of an invasive predator. But the destruction extended beyond just the wildlife. The mongooses brought severe economic hardship to the people of the island. Farmers, who were already facing the natural difficulties of island life, now had to contend with a new and relentless threat. Mongooses raided poultry farms, killed livestock, and damaged crops, making it even harder for locals to sustain their way of life. Adding to the crisis, the mongooses carried new diseases that spread to livestock, worsening the economic struggles of the island's communities. What had once been a peaceful and self-sufficient existence was now upended by the unexpected fallout of a well-intentioned but disastrous intervention. The mongoose crisis serves as a harsh lesson in how delicate ecosystems truly are, and how even the best intended solutions can quickly spiral out of control. A project that had been meant to save human lives had instead placed both the island's environment and its economy at risk. Could Japan's bold efforts to combat the mongoose invasion restore balance? Or did this situation reveal a deeper question, one about the fine line between human intervention and nature's ability to adapt? Japan's bold experiment to control the snake problem on Amami-Oshima Island took an unexpected turn. Over time, the mongoose population shifted dramatically, while specialized traps were introduced to capture the invasive species. These were not ordinary traps. They were specifically designed to target mongooses, ensuring that no other animals were accidentally caught in the process. Since the year 2005, dedicated teams of hunters, made up of both local residents and specialists, have been patrolling the island's dense forests and rugged mountains. Their mission was clear: track, trap, and remove the mongooses. The operation required massive investments in manpower and resources. Over the years, the cost of eradicating the species reached nearly $25 million, making it one of the most extensive wildlife control efforts in Japan's history. The stakes were high, and the people of the island felt the growing pressure as they struggled with the impact of the invasion. Yet the situation was far more complicated than it seemed. While many agreed that something needed to be done to protect the island's fragile ecosystem, not everyone supported the plan. The mongooses, though invasive, had spent years adapting to the environment and had become a part of it. This created an ethical dilemma. Should the government push forward with total eradication, or should they find a way for the species to coexist with the island's wildlife? The battle against the mongooses stretched on for more than 2 decades, requiring patience, strategy, and constant surveillance. Year after year, traps were reset, data was collected, and progress was carefully measured. Finally, after relentless effort, a major breakthrough arrived in the year 2018. Japan officially declared that Amami-Oshima Island was mongoose-free. This remarkable achievement, nearly 25 years in the making, was the result of extensive efforts. It wasn't just the traps that made the difference. Especially trained sniffer dogs, round-the-clock monitoring, and a dedicated task force known as the Amami Mongoose Busters played a critical role in making the operation a success. The entire process showcased the challenges of balancing conservation efforts with human intervention, revealing just how complex wildlife management can be. So, did Japan make the right choice in eradicating the mongooses from Amami-Oshima Island? Or should they have explored a way to integrate these adapted invaders into the ecosystem? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and follow the channel for more fascinating discoveries. Originally brought in to control the snake population, mongooses instead harm the island's fragile endemic species, including the now endangered Amami rabbit. Amami-Oshima, a subtropical UNESCO World Heritage Site, is home to rare species. The mongooses, introduced to combat snakes, ended up threatening about 15 local species. The Amami rabbit, a living fossil, is one such species, with encounters between these rabbits and mongooses drastically decreasing. In addition to the rabbit, mongooses also endangered rats and preyed on farm birds and crops, disrupting the local economy. They even spread diseases to animals they didn't consume. Within 2 decades, the habitat of smaller animals shrank by 40%. Islands like Amami-Oshima are delicate ecosystems where species are not adapted to handle new predators like mongooses, which hunt anything they can catch. The introduction of an outside predator to an isolated environment can lead to catastrophic results, as seen here. The impact of an invasive species is particularly severe on islands, where native animals lack defenses against unfamiliar threats. Eradicating the mongooses took nearly 25 years, with the entire project lasting almost 50 years. Despite the moral concerns involved in removing them, Japan's approach proved necessary. Early action is vital when managing invasive species, as they spread rapidly and become harder to eliminate. Japan succeeded in removing all mongooses before irreversible damage occurred. To put this accomplishment in perspective, there have been only 9 cases worldwide of successfully eliminating mongooses from places where they were introduced. Japan's success on Amami-Oshima is especially remarkable since it was achieved on a large island, making the operation far more challenging. On a positive note, the initial concern of snake bites has improved. By 2020, snakebite cases on the island had fallen to around 60 per year. However, this decline wasn't due to the mongooses, but rather proactive safety efforts and the availability of antivenoms. While Japan's swift action saved Amami-Oshima's unique wildlife, the consequences of similar efforts in places like Hawaii emphasize the risks of delaying responses to invasive species. This case serves as a strong reminder that taking immediate action can be the difference between preserving an ecosystem or watching it collapse. Invasive species are a major threat worldwide, and the mongoose story reveals why controlling them early is crucial. Once the opportunity to act is lost, undoing the damage can be nearly impossible. Japan's mongoose case is a key lesson, but it's not unique. Around the world, there are many cases where introducing a species to control another led to even worse consequences instead. Take Hawaii, for example. In the early 1800s, mongooses were brought in to reduce rat numbers, which were causing severe damage to sugarcane crops. The idea seemed reasonable. Sugarcane farmers had heard of mongooses being used successfully against rats in the Caribbean and decided to follow suit. So, in the year 1872, mongooses were imported from India to Hawaii, with the expectation that they would control the rat population. The concept was simple. Fewer rats meant less harm to crops, which would benefit the farmers. But things didn't go as planned. Instead of targeting rats, the mongooses began hunting Hawaii's native birds and reptiles, pushing several species to the brink of extinction. The situation worsened as they started feeding on bird eggs and young sea turtles, triggering an ecological disaster. Despite all containment efforts, Hawaii soon found itself in a position where reversing the damage was nearly impossible. Physical barriers were placed to keep mongooses out of key conservation areas, but by then, the impact was already irreversible. Mongooses have been directly linked to the decline of at least 8 bird species, which are now federally classified as endangered due to their dwindling numbers. Hawaii's situation highlights how invasive species not only destroy native wildlife but also disrupt local economies, cultural traditions, and delicate ecosystems. It stands as a harsh reminder that ecological mistakes have long-lasting consequences, and once an environment is harmed, recovery is extremely difficult. Japan, on the other hand, acted quickly, enabling them to manage the crisis before it became uncontrollable. So what can we learn from these events? Early detection, scientific research, and public involvement play a critical role. Waiting until problems grow out of control is not an option. We must remain vigilant and prepared to act before it's too late. The lessons from Hawaii and Japan emphasize that prevention, education, and proactive strategies are the best defenses against environmental disasters, ensuring that ecosystems remain protected for future generations. While removing mongooses from Amami Oshima Island may seem like a success, it came at a cost to the island's biodiversity and long-term ecological balance. Yet, the challenge isn't over. On Okinawa Island, where mongooses were introduced many decades ago, the problem remains unresolved. The hard-earned lessons from Amami Oshima must be applied wisely if Okinawa hopes to manage the situation effectively. Looking back at Japan's mongoose experiment, one thing is clear: the impact of introducing invasive species is never fully predictable. Even with the best intentions, such actions can disrupt the very ecosystems they were meant to protect. This serves as a stark warning for any future biological control efforts. As we continue addressing environmental threats, we must consider: are we truly fixing the problem, or are we just creating a more complicated one? So the next time you hear about using animals for pest control, think about Japan's mongoose experiment. Is it a brilliant solution or just another disaster in the making? If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. Comment below about the next country you want to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. If Japan is known as the leading producer of adult films in Asia, then the Czech Republic stands out as one of the top producers in Europe. It's not unusual to encounter figures from this industry while strolling through the city streets. Mushrooms, affectionately called the poor man's meat, hold a special place in the hearts of the locals. It's not just a pastime here, it's deeply embedded in the culture. When you explore Prague, the capital, you might notice an unexpected sight: beggars, whose actions might catch you off guard. So sit back, relax, and let the mesmerizing allure of this land filled with art and mystery unfold before your eyes. First, let's take a journey across one of Prague's most iconic landmarks, the Charles Bridge. This remarkable bridge connects the historic Old Town with the Grand Prague Castle. For centuries, it was the sole bridge crossing the Vltava River until the year 1741. Imagine that. All the other bridges you see today were built after this one. As you walk across the Charles Bridge, you'll notice statues that line its path. These statues were created to honor important historical figures. Over the years, they started to wear down, so the originals were moved carefully to the National Museum for preservation, and beautiful replicas were placed on the bridge. The bridge is alive with artistic energy. You'll find talented artists offering to sketch your portrait in both realistic styles and playful caricatures. A caricature will set you back around €50, or about $55 US. What about you? Would you sit for a caricature or choose something more classic? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Adding to the vibrancy of the bridge, street performers entertain visitors, with many inviting donations for their acts, further enriching the artistic atmosphere. Prague is truly a blend of cultures. Besides the locals, the city attracts a large number of Asian and Arab tourists, making up the biggest groups of visitors. At major attractions, you'll often see travelers from places like Korea, Japan, and the Arab world exploring the city's history on their own or with a guide. The city's workforce is also diverse, with many people from countries like the Philippines, India, and Bangladesh contributing to the multicultural vibe of Prague. Next, we take you to one of the most distinctive spots in Prague, the Lenin Wall. This colorful wall serves as a tribute to John Lennon, the iconic musician who passed away in 1980. Since then, it has become a canvas for vibrant graffiti, poems, and messages of peace, love, and hope in his honor. Visitors flock here to snap photos and add their own artistic touch, keeping alive a tradition of creative expression that has made this wall the most famous in the city. One of the most fascinating places to visit in Prague is the Jewish Quarter, which holds the title of being the largest of its kind in all of Europe. Located right in the heart of the city, this ancient district is rich in history, with stories and legends that continue to captivate those who venture here. Now, if you didn't know, Czech culture has a unique bond with mushrooms, and it plays an important part in everyday life. In fact, the average Czech family collects around 8 kilograms of mushrooms each year. When you visit one of the country's stunning national parks or forests, don't be surprised if you spot families out and about, gathering wild mushrooms. Often referred to as the poor man's meat, mushrooms are a central part of Czech cuisine. For those who can't afford more expensive cuts of meat, mushroom foraging has been the perfect solution for generations. From savory soups to hearty stews, these mushrooms make their way into nearly every dish. With 35 different types of edible mushrooms growing across the country, Czechs have become experts at knowing which ones are safe to eat, and more importantly, which ones are delicious. Now let's talk about beggars in Prague, a subject that will shift your perspective. But before we dive into that, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoyed this content, hit that subscribe button. It would mean so much to us. In return, we promise to keep making this show even better. Deal? When you visit Prague, you'll notice a fair number of beggars, particularly around the lively tourist areas. Most of the beggars you'll come across are middle-aged men, and they often use humble body language to silently ask for a few Czech crowns, which is roughly equivalent to $1 or $2. Despite the number of tourists, you'll never feel pressured or unsafe. No one in Prague will demand money from you. Whether you decide to give them a small donation is completely up to you. In fact, global safety rankings consistently place the Czech Republic among the top 10 safest countries in Europe as of 2024. In Prague, the police presence is almost symbolic. It's rare to see officers taking action unless someone's had a bit too much to drink. You may even spot patrol cars parked without officers inside, which shows just how low the crime rate is here. But that's not all. Prague excels in cleanliness. From the charming alleyways to the busy squares near renowned museums, every corner of the city is spotless. Thanks to dedicated municipal workers and local shop owners who start their day cleaning their storefronts, the whole city feels fresh and welcoming. Coming across litter? It's almost unheard of in Prague. And when it comes to the roads, they're not just functional, they're modern, well-maintained, and incredibly smooth, making your journey around the city a pleasure. Of course, in a city so pristine, you'll also see many luxurious, modern cars cruising through the streets, adding a touch of elegance to the urban scene. Have you ever wondered why so many Europeans flock to destinations like Greece and Turkey for their summer vacations? The answer is simple: unpredictable weather. In many parts of Europe, the weather can be quite inconsistent, even during the summer months. For those who crave reliable sunshine and warmth, countries like Greece and Turkey are the perfect escape. Imagine spending each day under the sun, without worrying about sudden rain showers or chilly winds. If you're considering an entry-level job, companies like Walt offer courier positions, and here's an interesting fact: most couriers in Prague deliver by bicycle. On average, a courier can earn around €1,000 a month, and you'll often see them cycling through the city, contributing to Prague's lively and bustling atmosphere. The minimum wage for a full-time worker, which is 40 hours a week, is about 19,000 Czech korunas, or roughly €750. However, the average gross monthly salary in the Czech Republic is much higher, around 40,000 korunas, which is about €1,600. If you secure a higher-paying job, you could live comfortably. But like in most places, taxes will take a portion of your earnings. In the Czech Republic, income tax rates range from 15 to 23%. So even skilled professionals typically bring home between €2,000 and €3,000 a month after taxes. Before you get too excited, let's take a look at the cost of living, especially if you're thinking about settling in Prague. Housing can take up a large portion of your income. For example, if you're sharing a flat with others, you might pay around 8,000 Czech korunas a month, which is considered fairly affordable. But if you want your own space, renting a small 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, around 40 square meters or larger, could cost you about 25,000 korunas, or roughly €1,000 per month. While Prague may seem more affordable compared to other major European cities, it can still be challenging for many residents to live comfortably, especially if you're on a tight budget. What do you think? Is the cost of living in Prague worth it for the lifestyle and beauty the city offers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions, especially if you've already been there or are considering moving. Another thing to keep in mind when visiting is the unpredictable weather. Even during the warmest months of June, July, and August, the weather can quickly change from sunny to rainy or chilly. You'll often see locals wearing long sleeves and light jackets in summer due to these sudden shifts in temperature. What's fascinating about the people of Prague is how they carry themselves. Even though many face financial challenges, they still maintain a positive attitude. If you make eye contact with someone on the street, there's a good chance they'll smile at you and greet you warmly. One noticeable feature among the younger generation is the large number of tattoos. It's common to see tattoos on at least 1 in every 3 people, particularly those under the age of 25. This form of self-expression seems to resonate with the youth, showcasing their love for unconventional styles and their sense of freedom when it comes to shaping their own appearances. Did you know that, along with Hungary, the Czech Republic is one of the largest producers of adult films in Europe? With a population of just over 10 million people, less than 1% of the world's population, this small nation contributes about 13% of the global adult film industry, based on data from the year 2019. As you walk through the capital city of Prague, you might unknowingly pass by a star from the adult film world. It's that common. Spend a little time in the country, and you're likely to meet someone involved in the industry, whether they're an actor, producer, or cameraman. But what's behind this phenomenon? Why would a country with such a small population be a major player in this field? Many Czechs believe it comes down to the pursuit of quick money. Czech women often choose to enter this industry as a way to gain financial independence. Interestingly, many of these stars are not just known in Europe, they've gained international recognition, including in the US. Despite this, the adult film industry isn't openly discussed among locals, and tourists are often unaware that the Czech Republic ranks as one of the top producers worldwide. But there's more to this country than just its adult film industry. The Czech Republic is also passionate about ice hockey. Forget football and basketball here, it's all about the ice. The Czech men's national ice hockey team is one of the strongest in the world, producing legendary players like Jaromír Jágr. The country's ice hockey league, which runs from September to April, draws large crowds and keeps fans engaged throughout the season. Beyond sports, the Czech Republic has made notable contributions to science. Did you know that 1 in 5 people worldwide suffers from vision impairment? A Czech chemist invented contact lenses, changing the way millions see today. And in the field of genetics, Johann Mendel, born in the Czech region, was a pioneer. His revolutionary research laid the foundation for modern genetics. For fans of literature, the Czech Republic is the birthplace of Franz Kafka, whose works, often exploring personal and societal struggles, have inspired readers around the globe. And speaking of world-changing innovations, the term robot actually originates here. A Czech writer coined the word in a play to describe a machine designed to do tasks humans didn't want to do. Today, robots play a significant role in modern life, and it all began in this small European country. While you're in Prague, be sure to check out one of the city's quirkiest attractions, the world's narrowest street. Located in the historic Malá Strana district, this street stretches only about 10 meters long and less than 1 meter wide at its narrowest point, with just 48 centimeters between the walls. It's so narrow that traffic lights have been installed to manage pedestrian flow, letting only one person pass at a time. And where does this tiny street lead? To a cozy little restaurant, of course. While waiting at tram stops, it's common to see Czechs deeply engrossed in books. This is no surprise, as the Czech Republic is well known for its high standard of education. In fact, nearly 90% of the population has completed secondary education, and an impressive 99% of people here are literate. These statistics place the Czech Republic among the most educated countries worldwide. The primary language spoken in the country is Czech, which is closely related to Slovak. Czech is considered one of the more difficult languages to learn, and mastering it can be quite the challenge. However, this complexity is just one of the many intriguing aspects that make the Czech Republic such a fascinating place to explore. The history of the Czech Republic is just as fascinating. After the Austro-Hungarian Empire fell apart, the Czechs and Slovaks united to create Czechoslovakia. However, in the year 1992, Slovakia peacefully sought its independence. On January 1, 1993, the Czech Republic emerged as a separate, independent nation. Since then, the country has become a key member of the Western world, joining NATO in 1999 and the European Union in 2004. One of the most iconic symbols of the Czech Republic is its flag, proudly displaying bold red, white, and blue colors. Initially, the flag only featured white and red stripes, similar to the Polish flag. However, a blue triangle was later added to represent the Slavic people in the region of Moravia. Over time, the flag has become a symbol of national pride, embodying values such as honesty, loyalty, justice, and peace. If you're planning a trip to the Czech Republic, here are a few important tips to keep in mind. One common mistake many travelers make is exchanging their euros for Czech korunas at the airport. The exchange rates offered at airport kiosks are often unfavorable, causing travelers to lose a significant amount of money. For example, exchanging 100 euros should get you around 2,500 Czech korunas, but at these kiosks, you might only receive about 2,000 or even less, costing you 12 to 15 euros. This problem isn't just limited to the airport. Many currency exchange offices in Prague use similar tactics, even if they claim no commission. To avoid this, it's better to exchange your money at a trusted bank or even before arriving in the country. Another pitfall is using ATMs from companies like Euronet, which may charge hidden fees and offer poor exchange rates. Sometimes you could end up losing as much as 20% of your money in these transactions. These ATMs can also disrupt the charming, medieval feel of Prague, so it's best to avoid them. An interesting fact about the Czech Republic is that, even though it's a member of the European Union, it doesn't use the euro. The Czech koruna remains the national currency, which can make traveling here a bit unique, but it may also present challenges for those unfamiliar with the exchange rates. Finally, don't forget about the unpredictable weather. Even in the warmest months of June, July, and August, the weather can quickly change from sunny to rainy or chilly. You'll often see locals wearing long sleeves and light jackets during the summer due to these sudden shifts. So, if you're planning to explore the city, make sure you're prepared for anything. If you're planning a trip to Prague, there are a few must-see landmarks that will deeply connect you to the city's rich culture and legendary history. First on your list should be the Old Town Square, a historic gem offering stunning views of medieval architecture. After that, take a walk to Prague Castle, one of the largest castle complexes in the world, and experience the weight of nearly 1,000 years of history beneath your feet. No visit to Prague is complete without crossing the iconic Charles Bridge. Lined with statues of saints and offering breathtaking views of the city, this bridge isn't just a way to get from one side to the other, it's a passage back in time. Next, prepare to be awestruck by the Old Town's famous astronomical clock, one of the most extraordinary clocks in the world. Every hour, the clock puts on a spectacular show, attracting crowds from all over the world. But it's not just about history. If you're looking for some fun, the Old Town Square is also a lively place where the energy never seems to stop. Whether it's street performers, live music, or spontaneous bursts of excitement, there's always something happening to entertain those who want to experience life to the fullest. When you think of the Czech Republic, what comes to mind? While the country's rich history and breathtaking architecture might top the list, there's one brand that stands out globally: Škoda. Yes, Škoda, the car company, is one of the Czech Republic's most famous exports, representing the nation's craftsmanship and innovation. Though it now operates under the German Volkswagen Group, Škoda remains a proud symbol of Czech engineering. As you walk through the streets of Prague, you'll quickly notice Škoda cars everywhere, especially the stylish Kodiaq SUV. And it's not just Škoda. Most of the cars you see are top-of-the-line models from the year 2020 or newer, reflecting the city's modern energy and passion for high-end automobiles. One of the country's most remarkable modern architectural landmarks is the Dancing House. Built between 1994 and 1996, this striking structure captures the imagination with its fluid, dynamic design. With its two parts, a glass tower supported by tilted columns and a wavy building by the river, this building creates the illusion that it is dancing. For many, the Dancing House holds a cultural significance in the Czech Republic, much like the Eiffel Tower does for France. Inside, you can enjoy a meal or coffee while taking in this architectural masterpiece. One of the first things you'll notice about Prague is how easy it is to get around, thanks to its well-organized public transportation system. The city is divided into several zones, such as Prague 1, Prague 2, and Prague 5. Navigating these areas is a breeze with the metro system. What makes Prague's metro stand out is that it's never overcrowded, unlike many other European cities. Trains arrive approximately every 10 minutes, ensuring a smooth and comfortable ride no matter where you're headed. Here's a helpful tip: always stand on the right side of the escalator. The left side is reserved for those in a hurry, so blocking it might be seen as inconsiderate. A unique feature of Prague's metro is the absence of turnstiles at station entrances, unlike the gated systems in cities like London or Paris. However, make sure to buy your tickets from the machines at the entrance. Public transport here is surprisingly affordable for a European capital. A standard ticket costs 20 Czech korunas, which is less than $1. To give you a clearer idea, 100 Czech korunas are roughly equivalent to $4. Just keep in mind that if you're caught without a valid ticket, you could face a hefty fine of up to $50, so it's best to play by the rules. While the metro is efficient, taxis are another option. But be cautious. Unauthorized taxis might charge you ridiculously high fares. For example, a trip from the airport to the city center, which is about 15 kilometers, could cost you at least $50 if you're not careful. To avoid these scams, stick with trusted services like Uber, which operate widely across Prague and offer fairer, more predictable prices. In addition to the metro and taxis, Prague's tram system is a vital part of daily life and one of the most affordable ways to get around. Trams run throughout the city and across both sides of the Vltava River. Tram stops are located every few blocks, and trams arrive frequently, making this an incredibly reliable mode of transportation. Due to the extensive network, Prague has a lot of overhead tram cables, but don't worry, they're designed to blend into the city's historic beauty. If you're driving in Prague, keep in mind that trams always have the right of way. Make sure not to block their path and yield when necessary. Driving in Prague comes with its own set of rules, but navigating this charming city is well worth the effort. So whether you're hopping on the metro, catching a tram, or using a trusted taxi service, Prague's transportation system is designed to make your stay as convenient as possible. Enjoy the ride. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. Comment below about the next country you want to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Imagine stepping onto an island where every step, every shadow, and every whisper of the wind could be your last. A place so lethal that it's not just off limits, it's constantly monitored to keep people away. Welcome to Cobra Island, home to the golden lancehead viper, one of the most venomous snakes on the planet. But no one truly knows the fate of those who dare to set foot here. And the authorities? Their strict lockdown raises one chilling question. What are they hiding? Could you survive Cobra Island? Stay with us as we uncover the secrets of this deadly paradise. Imagine stepping onto an island where danger lurks in every shadow. On Queimada Grande, thousands of snakes move silently, ruling the land. And Cobra Island, it shelters the golden lancehead viper, one of the most venomous serpents on Earth. Here, survival isn't just difficult, it's nearly impossible. Let's begin with the golden lancehead viper, a species found nowhere else but Cobra Island. Centuries of isolation and evolution have shaped it into a predator like no other. According to a report by Brazil's Butantan Institute in the year 2024, its venom is up to 5 times more potent than that of its mainland relatives. This agile hunter climbs trees, preying on migratory birds that pause on the island. On Queimada Grande, the Jararaca yoa dominates the ecosystem. A close relative of the mainland jararaca, this snake has evolved into a specialized predator. Unlike its relatives, it primarily hunts migratory birds, skillfully climbing trees and using its tail as a lure, mimicking a caterpillar or worm. Separated from the outside world for over 10,000 years, these snakes have become some of the most effective predators on the planet. Both islands are dense with vegetation, where every step could lead to a deadly encounter. The golden lancehead and Jararaca yoa blend seamlessly into the undergrowth or lie in wait among the branches. Their camouflage is so perfect that even seasoned experts struggle to detect them before it's too late. Consider the story of a Brazilian biologist who explored Queimada Grande in the year 2019. He recalled stepping over what appeared to be an ordinary vine, only to realize too late that it was a Jararaca yoa, coiled and ready to strike. "I froze," he said. "One more step and I wouldn't have made it back to the boat." These personal accounts remind us just how ruthless these environments truly are. What if you were stranded on one of these islands? Could you survive the relentless snakes, the treacherous terrain, and the crushing isolation? Comment yes or no below and share your thoughts. Surviving on snake-infested islands like Queimada Grande and Cobra Island is not just a test of endurance. It's a fight against nature itself. The terrain is relentless, filled with dense jungle, jagged rocks, and scarce resources. But the true threat isn't the landscape. It's the unseen dangers lurking in the grass, the trees, and even the shadows. One chilling story from the year 2018 reveals just how risky these islands are. 3 fishermen, lured by the mystery of Queimada Grande, anchored near its shore. According to local reports, they ventured into the wilderness, unaware of what awaited them. Only 2 were ever found. The third vanished, becoming yet another eerie reminder of the island's deadly reputation. For those stranded in such places, survival depends on sharp instincts and adaptability. With no freshwater sources or safe zones, constant vigilance is the only defense. As stated in Brazilian Navy protocols, researchers exploring these islands must wear protective clothing and move cautiously to avoid disturbing the snakes. Yet even trained biologists acknowledge that without immediate medical attention, the odds of survival are slim. A study by the Butantan Institute confirms that the venom of the golden lancehead can be fatal without treatment. In one harrowing survival tale from Queimada Grande, a sailor found himself trapped after his boat was swept away in a storm. With no food or water, he remained on the rocky coastline for 2 days, refusing to set foot in the forest. He collected rainwater in his palms and used a wooden stick to probe the ground for hidden snakes before taking each step. Eventually, a passing fishing boat rescued him, but he later described those 2 days as nothing short of pure terror. For many, there is no rescue. These islands remain untouched for a reason. Few dare to approach them, and even fewer are prepared for the dangers they conceal. But how did these deadly snakes come to dominate these islands, and why has their venom become so lethal? The answers lie in the mysterious origins of Cobra Island and Queimada Grande, coming up next. Before we continue, if you'd like to support this channel, take just 5 seconds to subscribe and turn on notifications. There's plenty of fascinating content on the way. Thank you, best of followers. On Queimada Grande and Cobra Island, danger doesn't give warnings. It strikes without mercy. These islands are more than just perilous landscapes. They hold stories of survival, fear, and resilience. In the year 2018, 3 fishermen anchored near Queimada Grande, hoping to gather fruit from its trees. What started as an ordinary trip quickly turned into a nightmare. When they failed to return, rescue teams discovered their boat drifting nearby. Clues suggested a deadly encounter with the island's venomous inhabitants. According to the Butantan Institute, navigating Queimada Grande without encountering its lethal residents is nearly impossible, with estimates of 1 snake per square meter. For these fishermen, a single mistake seemed to decide their fate. The lighthouse on Queimada Grande, constructed in the late 19th century, was once home to families who struggled daily against the relentless snake population. Records from the Brazilian Navy describe how serpents would invade their homes, hiding in boots, beds, and every possible corner of their living spaces. One chilling tale tells of a lighthouse keeper's family who, overwhelmed by an onslaught of snakes, fled toward the shore in the dead of night. But the island's danger lurked everywhere, even above, hanging from the trees. This terrifying ordeal led to the automation of the lighthouse in the year 1925, sparing future residents from the same fate. Today, the abandoned structure stands as a silent witness to the island's haunting past. Cobra Island's reputation is just as unsettling. Though heavily restricted due to military patrols, eerie stories persist about explorers and treasure hunters who vanished without a trace. According to local legend, the golden lance-head viper fiercely guards the island, ensuring that no one trespasses. Whether due to supernatural curses or natural dangers, one thing remains certain: survival on Cobra Island is nearly impossible. On both islands, the greatest fear is not just the snakes, it's the isolation and the terrifying realization that no help is coming. As one Brazilian Navy officer once warned, preparation is everything. On islands like these, even the smallest mistake can become fatal. Have you ever heard survival stories as gripping as these? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. What would you do if you found yourself face to face with danger on Queimada Grande or Cobra Island? Both Queimada Grande and Cobra Island are tightly restricted by the Brazilian government, with strict no-entry policies enforced by military patrols. For most people, these islands are entirely off-limits. Even scientists need special permits and must follow protective measures before conducting any research. The reason is clear: safety and preservation. According to the Brazilian Institute of Environment and Renewable Natural Resources, the sheer number of venomous snakes on Queimada Grande is estimated between 1 and 5 per square meter. Cobra Island, with its dense population of golden lancehead vipers, is just as dangerous. To prevent deadly encounters, local authorities enforce these restrictions. The military's presence also helps protect critical ecosystems. Both islands are home to extremely rare species, including the golden lancehead viper and the elusive jararaca yawa, found nowhere else on Earth. In the year 1985, Queimada Grande was officially designated as a vital ecological zone, with laws in place to preserve its fragile environment. Even under controlled conditions, scientists must be extremely careful. One researcher described a near-fatal encounter in the year 2022, highlighting the constant danger. You must stay alert. The snakes are everywhere, and a single mistake could be disastrous. While official reasons focus on safety and conservation, some believe there could be darker secrets hidden on these islands. Could these locations have been used for biological experiments, as some theories suggest? Are there unknown threats that authorities are keeping from the public? Or are these just myths, fueled by fear and legend? The truth remains uncertain, but the mystery makes these islands even more fascinating. What happens when a species is completely cut off from the rest of the world? Does it vanish, or does it transform into something remarkable? On Queimada Grande and Cobra Island, the answer lies in the serpents that dominate these landscapes. Separated for thousands of years, these snakes have evolved in surprising and complex ways. But what made these islands the perfect stage for their transformation? Around 11,000 years ago, as the Ice Age came to an end, rising sea levels reshaped Brazil's coastline. Queimada Grande and Cobra Island, once connected to the mainland, became isolated by the encroaching ocean. Without small mammals or rodents to hunt, the snakes were forced to adapt, shifting their focus to a new prey: migratory birds. To survive, they had to evolve rapidly, developing new hunting skills and deadly precision. On Cobra Island, the golden lancehead viper is a prime example of evolution at work. Over time, this species developed incredibly potent venom, ensuring its prey is immobilized almost instantly. A study conducted by the Butantan Institute in the year 2023 confirmed that this adaptation allows the snake to secure food with remarkable efficiency. But its adaptations don't stop there. The golden lancehead is an expert climber, blending into the treetops and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Its unmatched precision makes it one of the most efficient predators in this extreme environment. Meanwhile, on Queimada Grande, another species, the jararaca, followed its own evolutionary path. Isolated for over 10,000 years, this snake developed extraordinary camouflage, allowing it to disappear into the forest floor. It even uses its tail to mimic worms and caterpillars, luring birds in before striking with deadly accuracy. Like the golden lancehead, the jararaca depends on venom to subdue its prey. But these changes aren't just about survival. They've allowed these snakes to master their environment in ways few species ever could. For both, isolation wasn't a trap. It was an advantage. With no competition and limited resources, they adapted, evolving into some of the most specialized predators on the planet. For centuries, Queimada Grande and Cobra Island have intrigued adventurers and sparked the imagination of locals and visitors alike. With their unique ecosystems and the legends surrounding them, these islands are as mysterious as they are fascinating. But how much of the folklore is rooted in truth, and how much is a product of human imagination? One of the enduring stories tied to Queimada Grande involves the mysterious fires that once swept across the island. When Portuguese explorers first mapped the area in the 16th century, it's said they set the forest ablaze before leaving. While some speculate this was an attempt to cleanse the land of perceived dangers, others believe it was a practical effort to clear the dense vegetation. Historical records from the 19th century during the lighthouse's operation suggest that keepers burned portions of the forest to control the island's snake population. These fires, visible from the mainland, added to the island's mysterious allure. Despite these efforts, the golden lancehead viper, a species endemic to the island, continued to thrive, showcasing the resilience of this unique ecosystem. Cobra Island has a history filled with rumors of lost explorers and hidden treasures. Local tales speak of treasure hunters drawn to whispers of pirate gold buried beneath the island's dense jungle. However, many who ventured there reportedly never returned, leading to speculation about the island's dangers, including the formidable golden lancehead viper. One story tells of an explorer in the early 20th century who set out to retrieve a legendary treasure. His camp was later found abandoned, his boat untouched, with no clues to his whereabouts. While such stories add to the mystique of the island, they are best seen as cautionary tales rather than confirmed historical events. Both Queimada Grande and Cobra Island are surrounded by rumors of curses and mysterious phenomena. Some visitors have reported hearing unexplained laughter or seeing shadows moving through the dense forest. Scientists, however, attribute these phenomena to natural causes, such as the island's thick vegetation, shifting winds, and the vibrant wildlife that fills the area. According to a 2024 report by the Brazilian Environmental Institute, the unexplained sounds and sights can often be explained by natural processes, reminding us that sometimes the real wonder lies in the natural world rather than the supernatural. Why would a government work so hard to keep two islands completely off limits? Are the challenges truly so great, or is there more to this story? The Brazilian military plays a crucial role in maintaining control over these islands. According to a 2023 report by the Brazilian Ministry of Environment, patrol boats frequently monitor the waters surrounding the islands, ensuring no unauthorized individuals approach. This isn't just about public safety. It's also about preserving the fragile ecosystems of the golden lancehead viper and Girara sayoa, species that can't be found anywhere else on Earth. This high level of enforcement has led some to wonder if the island's restrictions are solely for ecological reasons. While protecting such rare species is undoubtedly important, theories persist that the government might have other motivations, ranging from preserving untapped resources to conducting scientific research in a controlled environment. Adding to the intrigue, military personnel and researchers who have visited the islands rarely share details about their experiences. Interviews with former officials highlighted in a 2024 article by Brazil's Nature Conservation Journal suggest strict confidentiality agreements are in place. While some say this is meant to prevent misinformation, others speculate it's to ensure sensitive information stays out of the public eye. Some believe the venom of the golden lancehead viper may hold potential for medical advancements or scientific discoveries. While no official data supports these claims, the limited public access fuels curiosity about what might be happening on the islands. There's also speculation that Cobra Island in particular might have been used as an isolated research site. While unverified, the island's dense environment and restricted access provide an ideal setting for controlled scientific studies. However, the most likely explanation is simpler. Strict regulations are necessary to protect the island's unique ecosystems from invasive species and illegal activity. The golden lancehead viper, for example, is a key focus of conservation efforts due to its critical role in the ecosystem. Whether the restrictions are meant to prevent accidents, protect biodiversity, or maintain controlled research, the government's efforts ensure these islands remain an enigma. You may not realize it, but the venom of certain snakes, while highly dangerous in the wild, is at the forefront of modern medical breakthroughs. Scientists are discovering how these natural compounds could lead to life-saving treatments for some of the most challenging health conditions. Take the golden lancehead viper, for example. Found only on Brazil's remote Queimada Grande Island, this snake's venom is far more potent than that of its mainland relatives. While it helps the viper capture prey, researchers have found that its venom contains compounds with the potential to revolutionize medicine. At the renowned Butantan Institute, scientists have made significant progress in analyzing the venom's proteins. Some of these compounds can prevent blood clotting, offering new possibilities for advanced anticoagulants to treat heart attacks and strokes. Such discoveries could transform cardiovascular medicine and save countless lives. Another fascinating species, the Girara sayoa, also native to Queimada Grande, has venom with similar medical benefits. Though dangerous in the wild, its venom contains enzymes that help regulate blood pressure. These enzymes led to the development of captopril, one of the most important medications for treating hypertension. According to the World Health Organization, captopril continues to be a key treatment for managing high blood pressure, helping millions worldwide. It's remarkable, isn't it? Snakes, often feared for their deadly venom, are also contributing to some of humanity's greatest medical advancements. This paradox, their ability to both harm and heal, reveals the complexity and wonder of nature. By turning a once-feared substance into a tool for healing, researchers are proving how science and nature can work together in extraordinary ways. These misunderstood creatures may hold the key to a healthier future for us all. While the golden lancehead and Girara sayoa snakes are known for their rare and fascinating traits, they also play a vital role in the fragile ecosystems of Queimada Grande and Cobra Island. These extraordinary creatures are living proof of nature's ability to adapt and thrive in extreme conditions. However, their survival now faces a serious threat, not from nature, but from human interference. After centuries of isolation, conservationists and researchers are working tirelessly to protect these rare species from dangers such as habitat destruction and illegal activities. One of the most advanced conservation methods being used is microchipping technology. Scientists from Brazil's renowned Butantan Institute have successfully microchipped over 1,500 snakes as of 2024. This cutting-edge approach allows experts to track their movements and behaviors without disrupting their natural surroundings. By analyzing these patterns, researchers can gain a deeper understanding of the ecosystem and refine conservation strategies. For example, recent data reveals that some golden lancehead vipers are shifting their territory, likely in response to changes in prey availability. Insights like these are critical for designing long-term plans to protect both the snakes and their environment. However, there are additional challenges. Illegal activities pose a serious risk to the population of these snakes and the delicate balance of their ecosystem. Conservation organizations are stressing the importance of preserving these species not just for their role in nature, but also for their potential contributions to scientific research and medicine. To address these concerns, efforts are underway to regulate research, designate these habitats as protected ecological zones, and raise global awareness about the importance of conservation. By supporting these initiatives, we can help ensure that these unique creatures continue to exist for generations to come. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. Comment below about the next country you want to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. What hidden mysteries lie beneath the rivers, swamps, and lakes we often overlook? Beneath the shadowy waters and frozen depths, archaeologists have uncovered astonishing relics that challenge everything we thought we knew. A prehistoric blade, crafted long before the first known settlers arrived in North America. An ancient wooden idol, carved with enigmatic symbols that continue to baffle experts. And a man so perfectly preserved that workers mistook him for a recent drowning victim, until scientists revealed he had been buried for 2,500 years. Stay with us, because these remarkable discoveries will make you question history itself. In the year 1950, peat cutters working in Tollen Fen, near Silkeborg, Denmark, uncovered remarkably preserved human remains buried about 8 feet deep. The body's lifelike condition led workers to believe they had found someone from modern times. Now called Tollen Man, he was discovered in a curled position, knees drawn to his chest. He wore a sheepskin cap with a strap, a leather belt, and a braided leather cord around his neck. Most of his other clothing had decayed. Scientific studies revealed that Tollen Man lived around 2,500 years ago and was about 40 years old when his life peacefully ended. Researchers even identified his final meal, a bowl of flax and barley porridge. Experts believe his placement in the bog was part of an ancient ritual in which wetlands played a role in sacred customs. Today, Tollen Man remains one of Europe's most remarkable archaeological finds, offering a unique look into early life. If you think Tollen Man was a shocking discovery, wait until you hear about a find that completely changed what we thought we knew about the first humans in North America. In 2016, American archaeologists made a groundbreaking discovery in a 30-foot deep underwater sinkhole off Florida's coast. They uncovered stone tools and fossilized bones of mastodons and prehistoric elephants, dating back 145,000 years. This challenged the long-held belief that humans first arrived in North America about 13,000 years ago with the Clovis people from Siberia. The find proved that humans were present at least 1,500 years earlier, and they weren't related to the Clovis. The tool's design suggested a completely different group, but their identity remains a mystery. So far, no human remains from that era have been found. Research is further complicated because their settlements now lie submerged, making excavation difficult. This discovery reshaped our understanding of North America's earliest inhabitants. But humans aren't the only ones with astonishing survival stories. Deep in the frozen swamps of North Carolina, alligators revealed a mind-blowing way to beat the cold. One incredible example of animal resilience comes from the swamps of North Carolina's Charlotte River Swamp Park. In the year 2018, an unusually harsh winter swept across the United States, sending temperatures plummeting to near-record lows. Many bodies of water froze over, including the park's swamp. For the park's alligators, this sudden deep freeze could have been a serious threat, but these ancient reptiles revealed a remarkable survival skill. As park staff carefully observed the frozen swamp, they noticed something strange poking through the surface of the ice: alligator snouts. At first, it seemed like the cold had caught the animals off guard, freezing them mid-swim. But park employees quickly shared photos and videos online to explain what was really happening. The alligators had purposely raised their snouts above the ice to create breathing holes while the rest of their bodies slipped into a hibernation-like state. Suspended in the ice, they appeared lifeless, but as soon as the ice melted and temperatures rose, they simply thawed out and returned to life as usual. Survival skills are one thing, but what if a discovery proves that terrifying prehistoric creatures weren't so different from modern predators? Let's take a look at a fossil find that had scientists scratching their heads. During the 1980s, paleontologists working in the Austrian Alps unearthed the fossilized remains of 4 phytosaurs, ancient reptiles from a species never before identified. Interestingly, detailed studies of these fossils only began in recent years. At first glance, the skulls look remarkably similar to modern crocodiles and gharials. However, researchers confirmed that phytosaurs are not direct ancestors of today's crocodilians. This discovery is a clear example of convergent evolution, where unrelated species develop similar traits due to shared environments and lifestyles. Phytosaurs were semi-aquatic reptiles that thrived in ancient rivers and lakes, but the fossils found in the Alps were preserved in sediments from a prehistoric sea. This suggests that at least some phytosaurs adapted to marine life. Scientific studies revealed that these phytosaurs grew to lengths of around 13 feet, and all 4 individuals were still maturing when they reached approximately 8 years old. According to experts, this find provided invaluable insight into a species that had remained completely unknown until now. Not all discoveries are ancient or scientific. This next find has left locals feeling uneasy for years, with some believing it brings misfortune to those who get too close. But before we continue, I have a quick 10-second request for all of you listening. If you'd like to support this channel, just press the notification bell and hit that subscribe button. It truly helps. And if you do that for me, I promise my team and I will work even harder to bring you the best content possible. Deal? Deep in the forests near the coastal town of Lucinda in Queensland, Australia, something unsettling sways in the breeze. Hanging from a tree beside a swamp, a weathered doll sits alone on a swing. When the wind picks up, the swing gently moves back and forth, creating a scene that many locals describe as eerie and impossible to explain. This mysterious doll has been the subject of local stories for several years, and many residents prefer to stay away. According to folklore, anyone who ventures too close risks disturbing the doll's space, triggering a series of misfortunes or unexplained illnesses. Despite its eerie reputation, no one knows for sure who placed the doll there or why. Some believe it was left behind to discourage trespassers, while others suspect it might be a creative stunt designed to attract curious visitors. Even the mayor of Lucinda has admitted to feeling uneasy near the doll, though he remains skeptical about the supposed curse. But if that mystery unsettles you, get ready for a discovery that could rewrite the history of the first people to set foot in North America by thousands of years. In a river in southeastern Oregon, archaeologists made a discovery that could change what we know about North America's earliest settlers. Buried beneath layers of sediment, they uncovered a stone hunting tool estimated to be around 16,000 years old. According to researchers, this tool may have been used to hunt massive Ice Age creatures, including mammoths and mastodons. Interestingly, the tool was found near the Rimrock Draw rock shelter, a site already known for artifacts linked to the Clovis culture, long believed to be the first to spread across North America. However, experts are certain this tool did not belong to the Clovis. Its design points to an earlier pre-Clovis group, suggesting humans may have arrived on the continent nearly 2,000 years before the Clovis emerged. About 100 kilometers from the Peruvian city of Cusco, travelers can witness a rare natural wonder, the Rio Rojo, a river that turns a deep raspberry red during the rainy season. This striking phenomenon attracts visitors from all over the world, but for most of the year, the river reverts to a more typical brownish hue filled with sediment. So what causes this dramatic change in color? The river flows near the Palcoyo Rainbow Mountains, a breathtaking geological formation in the Peruvian Andes. Over millions of years, these mountains developed vibrant layers due to a mix of red sandstone and mineral deposits, including iron oxide. When heavy rains erode the slopes, large amounts of iron oxide wash into the Rio Rojo, temporarily turning its waters a vivid shade of red. If you had the chance to see the Rio Rojo during its rare red phase, would you take a swim in its striking waters, or would the unusual color make you think twice? Let me know what you think. During field research in Chongqing, a major city in southwestern China, zoologists picked up an unusual sound coming from a swamp. As they moved in to investigate, they spotted a small, unremarkable-looking frog resting near the water's edge. After capturing the amphibian, researchers conducted a full DNA analysis and uncovered something extraordinary. They had discovered an entirely new species, that officially named Nidierana chongqingensis, after the city where it was found. This newly identified frog measures only about 4 centimeters long. Its back is dark brown with scattered irregular spots, while its belly is a pale cream color. Adding to its unique appearance, its eyes have a multicolored iris, with bright yellow across the top and reddish-brown along the bottom. So far, scientists have learned that Nidierana chongqingensis prefers life in mountain swamps and ponds, where it blends into the environment by hiding among dry leaves. This impressive camouflage likely explains why it remained undiscovered for so long. Beyond that, much of its behavior is still a mystery, though researchers did confirm that males produce loud, screeching calls at night. At the end of the year 2022, a resident of Oxford, Mississippi, was walking along the exposed banks of the Mississippi River when he spotted an unusual bone fragment with a large black tooth still lodged in it. Curious, he took the object home. 3 days later, he brought it to a local fossil and artifact museum, where experts immediately recognized its importance. Following a detailed examination, paleontologists confirmed that the fragment belonged to Panthera atrox, commonly known as the American lion. This species vanished from North America roughly 11,000 years ago and was among the largest big cats to ever exist. Fully grown, these predators could stretch up to 7 feet in length, stand 4 feet tall at the shoulder, and weigh as much as 990 pounds, but making them even bigger than modern lions. This incredible find was only possible due to the extreme drought of 2022, which caused water levels in the Mississippi River to drop dramatically. As the river was exposed, locals stumbled upon a range of fossils, artifacts, and even long-lost shipwrecks that had remained hidden beneath the muddy waters for centuries. But what if I told you that one of the most astonishing discoveries wasn't a fossil or an ancient animal, but a living organism so massive that you can see it with the naked eye? In the year 2022, scientists exploring the mangrove swamps of Guadeloupe, an island in the Lesser Antilles of the Caribbean, made an astonishing discovery. They identified a bacterium so enormous that it is visible without a microscope. This massive microorganism was officially named T. margarita magnifica. It can grow up to nearly 1 centimeter in length, making it over 5,000 times larger than most bacteria ever recorded. Adding to its unusual nature, these bacteria appear as thin white filaments, resembling eyelashes, and their cells contain tiny sulfur granules that glisten under natural light. Interestingly, this remarkable species was first spotted back in the year 2009 by Olivier Gros, a marine biologist from the University of the French Antilles. However, it was initially mistaken for a type of fungus and remained largely overlooked until recent genetic studies confirmed its true identity. Now classified as a prokaryote, T. margarita magnifica survives by extracting energy through the oxidation of reduced sulfur compounds, thriving in the nutrient-rich waters of its mangrove habitat. Even more incredible, this giant bacterium exists as a single cell, challenging everything scientists thought they knew about the size limits of microbial life. From microscopic giants to ancient monuments, the next discovery surfaced when a historic drought uncovered something that had been hidden for decades. In the summer of 2022, extreme drought struck Spain, revealing the dolmen of Guadalperol within the Valdecañas Reservoir. Often called the Spanish Stonehenge, this prehistoric site features around 150 granite stones arranged in a circle, measuring about 5 meters across. At its center lies a corridor about 21 meters long, first uncovered in 1926 by archaeologist Hugo Obermeier. The site had remained underwater for decades. Experts estimate its age at roughly 5,000 years. Meanwhile, within the Amazon basin, scientists have studied the paquiu, a relative of the piranha with teeth that resemble those of humans. Unlike their carnivorous relatives, paquiu are omnivores, using their strong teeth to break open nuts. Though native to South America, paquiu have spread to places such as Denmark, the United States, and Russia, likely through the pet trade. However, they can grow up to 1 meter, making them unsuitable for most aquariums. A stone river, also known as a kurom, is a rare geological formation where enormous boulders gather in a winding path resembling a dry riverbed. The largest known stone river is in Taganay National Park, Russia, stretching 6 kilometers between the Big and Middle Taganay ridges, with a width of up to 700 meters. Some individual boulders weigh as much as 10 tons. Visitors walking across the formation often report hearing the sound of flowing water beneath the rocks, and in some areas, small streams are visible. Scientists continue to study the origins of stone rivers, but many believe they formed due to ancient rock slides triggered by abrupt climate shifts. Taganay National Park suggests its stone river took shape when enormous boulders broke away from the mountains during a cooling period and tumbled into the valley, forming this unusual geological wonder. Sometimes, nature itself leaves warnings from the past. These eerie messages etched into stone remind us of the disasters that once struck our ancestors. In the year 2018, scientists started expressing concerns about an incoming drought across Europe. However, they were not the only ones issuing warnings. As water levels dropped, hunger stones began to emerge, revealing messages carved into rock centuries ago. These inscriptions served as grim reminders from those who had endured devastating droughts in the past. When rivers and lakes receded, communities etched warnings onto exposed stones, cautioning future generations about the suffering that followed. In earlier times, prolonged drought led to crop failures, food shortages, and famine. One of the most chilling hunger stones lies in the Elbe River in Czechia, carrying a haunting message from the year 1616. If you see me, weep. Hunger stones are more than just historical artifacts. They stand as sobering symbols of past disasters and the desperate attempts of those before us to warn the future. While hunger stones served as warnings of hardship, another river concealed something far more valuable: gold. Stay tuned. Tuned? Gold discoveries along the Yuba River sparked the California gold rush, attracting thousands of fortune seekers and altering history. In June of 1848, Jonas Specht, guided by an indigenous companion, discovered placer gold at Rose's Bar, about 15 miles from present-day Bridgeport, only months after James W. Marshall's famous find at Sutter's Mill. By 1849, the Goodyear brothers unearthed gold at Goodyear's Bar, which expanded to nearly 1,000 residents by 1851. Downeyville, at the junction of the Downey River and the North Fork of the Yuba River, thrived with hotels, bakeries, and saloons catering to miners. Gold washed from quartz-rich veins, collecting in river gravels. Early miners used pans and sluices, but soon, hydraulic mining with high-pressure water jets reshaped the land, causing heavy sedimentation and devastating floods. Still, the Yuba River's gold rush fueled California's rapid growth and migration boom. If you had lived in the 1800s, would you have gambled everything on the search for gold, or would you have found another way to build your fortune? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible discoveries. In a quiet Colombian town, residents began hearing unsettling sounds from beneath a bridge, noises that resembled the cries of a child calling for help. These eerie echoes sent chills through the community, causing many to avoid the bridge after nightfall. Eventually, a group of courageous men decided to investigate. They waited for hours, seeing and hearing nothing unusual. Just as they were preparing to leave, the mysterious sound returned, rising from the river below. One man peered into the water, and what he saw left him frozen in fear. Beneath the surface, he spotted a ghostly figure, a faint outline resembling a young girl. When he shared his experience, locals recalled a tragedy from nearly 50 years earlier. A young girl had suffered a terrible fate near the bridge, and her body had been discovered in the river. To this day, many in the town believe the haunting cries belonged to her, forever echoing through the night. The Florida skunk ape, often called Florida's Bigfoot, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the state's swamps. Described as a 7-foot-tall, ape-like figure with reddish-brown hair and a strong skunk-like odor, sightings date back over 200 years. In 1818, newspapers in Apalachicola reported a man-sized monkey raiding food stores. Later, in 1942, a creature allegedly charged a car, and in 1963, a family in Alachua County saw a large, hairy figure peering through their windows. In 1974, Dave Shealy, then 10 years old, spotted a skunk ape while hunting in Big Cypress National Preserve. Between 1997 and 1998, tour groups reported a foul-smelling, gorilla-like figure in the same area. In July 2000, Shealy filmed a bipedal creature running through the swamp, sparking debate. While skeptics dismiss it, the skunk ape remains a mystery in Florida's folklore. But beyond legends, archaeologists have also found evidence of how our ancestors navigated the world, starting with the oldest boat ever discovered. The Pes canoe, discovered in 1955 near the village of Pes in the Netherlands, holds the title of the world's oldest known boat. Dating back between 8,040 and 7,510 years before Christ, during the Mesolithic period, it was unearthed during the construction of the A28 motorway. Initially mistaken for a tree trunk, it was recognized as significant by local farmer Hendrik Wanders, who later handed it over to researchers at the University of Groningen. Now displayed at the Drents Museum in Essen, the 298-centimeter-long dugout canoe was carved from a Scots pine log using flint or antler tools. While some experts initially speculated it might have been an animal feeder, a 2001 replica proved its seaworthiness when successfully paddled. This discovery highlights early human innovation, showing how Mesolithic people navigated water for hunting, fishing, and transportation in a landscape dominated by rivers and lakes. And if an ancient canoe fascinates you, wait until you see the world's oldest wooden sculpture, covered in mysterious carvings we still don't fully understand. The Shigur idol, discovered in 1890 in the Shigur peat bog of Russia's Ural Mountains, is the oldest known wooden sculpture in the world. Radiocarbon dating confirms it is approximately 12,100 years old, dating back to the early Holocene epoch. Originally standing at 5 meters and 3 decimeters, only 2 meters and 8 decimeters remain today due to missing fragments. Carved from a single larch tree, its surface features intricate geometric patterns and human-like faces, the meanings of which continue to be debated by scholars. Some believe these carvings represent mythological or belief symbols from the prehistoric societies that created them. The idol's remarkable preservation is due to the acidic, oxygen-poor conditions of the peat bog, which prevented decay. This discovery has transformed our understanding of prehistoric art, proving that hunter-gatherer societies in Eurasia engaged in complex symbolic expression far earlier than previously thought. Ancient carvings are intriguing, but what if a discovery completely changed how we see one of history's most fearsome predators? Stay tuned. In the year 2014, paleontologists uncovered new Spinosaurus fossils in the Kem beds of southeastern Morocco, revealing groundbreaking insights into this prehistoric predator. The discovery included parts of the skull, spine, and hind limbs, but the most remarkable find was a well-preserved tail. Unlike any other dinosaur, Spinosaurus had a paddle-like tail, suggesting it was adapted for swimming, making it the first known semi-aquatic dinosaur. But further supporting this theory, researchers